During World War II, intelligence officers come up with a crazy plan to beat the Nazis, but it might fail because it is too illogical. The more crazy the plan, the more solid it needs to be. The movie takes place in the UK in 1943, during World War II. Lieutenant Commander Ewan Montague, a Jewish lawyer, holds a solemn reception at his home, where he and his brother Ivor and wife Iris are getting ready to greet the guests. Regardless of rumors that his legal career is coming to an end, Montague says he is only taking a few days off because he has been offered a position on the 20th Committee. He also honors Iris and tells the guests that she and their children will be leaving for the USA tomorrow for safety reasons. At the same time, Charles Chumley, a British intelligence spy, goes to the cinema and meets Jean, the woman he has been seeing for a long time. He tries to start talking with her, but her friend suddenly joins them, making him feel awkward. After the dinner, Montague and Iris get ready to part ways. Hester Leggett, the lawyer's secretary, says goodbye to Iris, wishes her a safe trip, and promises to keep in touch. Iris goes to pack up, and Montague says that they have to leave because they are Jews and would die if the Germans attack England. From Montague's discussion with Leggett, it's also clear that they will probably never see his wife again. Montague struggles with the idea of separation, but Leggett helps him and reassures him that they are doing the right thing. In the morning, he says goodbye to Iris and the kids and watches the car drive off, trying to hold back tears. British Prime Minister Winston Churchill, where he talks with Admiral John Godfrey about the upcoming operation in Sicily, which is supposed to change the pace of the war and start the downfall of the Nazis. Admiral Godfrey thinks they need to persuade Hitler that their goal is Greece, not Sicily. However, he says that they need a complex strategy that can only be created by the 20th Committee. The next day, Chumley joins a 20 committee meeting and promises his mother, who thinks he's just a bureaucrat, that he'll do everything to bring his brother's body home. Admiral Godfrey advises the committee that they must convince the Nazis that Allied forces will conquer Greece in 6 months. Godfrey planned a fake troop redeployment and stage negotiations, but Montague says tactical maneuvers are ineffective and that they need to present Hitler with a phony paper affirming their plans to attack Greece. Chumley fully agrees with Montague, saying he has developed a detailed plan called Operation Trojan Horse inspired by the Trout Memo. Dropping a crashed agent's body on the shore with fake documents is the operation. Godfrey is skeptic, but Montague and Chumley believe that the trick will work. The Admiral agrees and authorizes them to proceed with the operation, inviting Lieutenant Commander Ian Fleming. They head to their specified headquarters, where Chumley anxiously thinks many potential problems and disparities. Montague suggests Chumley start by looking for a perfect body and head to the morgue. Leggett arranges the HQ and briefs each assistant on their mission, as getting the perfect body is difficult. Montague and Chumley should consult with Bentley Purchase, a forensic expert, says Leggett. Intelligence agents found the body of vagrant Glendore Michael, who died by rat poison, despite forensic experts' reluctance to risk his credibility. Montague, Chumley, and Secretary Leggett discussed the body's realistic legend at the Gargoyle Club one evening. They named him William Martin, gives him a Royal Marine officer rank, and uses Montague's ID. Leggett suggests creating a romantic story with a photo and a letter from a fiancée, played by one of the Admiral's female staff. The next day, Chumley asks Jean to find a girl for the operation, which is now called mince meat instead of the Trojan horse. Jean shares a photo from her late husband to track the mission. She requests a headquarters position, which Chumley grants. Montague and Purchase try to shoot the corpse for the documents, but it looks nothing like a person. Purchase suggests looking for a living lookalike of their died man. Montague, Chumley, Leggett, and Jean return to the Gargoyle Club to find a match in the evening. They name his fiancée Pam and create a complicated romance to enhance William Martin's legend. Jean introduces herself to an American soldier at their table. The team notices that he looks exactly like Major Martin, but they don't tell the soldier about the plan. Instead, they ask him to help with a project to get his picture, which he agrees to do. The intelligence agents appreciate him for the great idea, calling him our secret weapon, who has already seen things we couldn't. Later, Montague decides to take Jean home, and on the way, they talk about William and Pam's love story, which is becoming more and more like their own. About 2 months passed and the operation is still being planned. However, the Germans are sure that the Allies will invade Sicily, and they think that there is a plan to spread false information. Chumley tells Admiral Godfrey that the mission setup went well and that they plan to drop Major Martin from a submarine to the coast of Spain, where there are many fascist agents. Godfrey tells him that he will give the plan to Churchill later and then, out of the blue, tells him about information that suggests Napoleon's brother Ivor supports the communists. He tells the spy to keep an eye on him, but Chumley doesn't listen. Chumley sees that Montague and Jean spent a lot of time together outside of work and then tells his colleague that it's not okay. However, a call from forensic expert, Purchase, cuts them off in the middle of their conversation. It turns out that the reporting nurse has been found, Glendor Michael's sister, who now wants to claim his body. The intelligence agents try to convince her that her brother was involved in a secret operation that will make him a hero, even offering to pay her, but she slams the door in their faces and leaves. In the meantime, Godfrey talks about the mission with Churchill and says that he doesn't think mince meat will work, but that work must continue because it will help find out about Ivor Montague, who might be spying for the USSR. However, Churchill wants people to pay close attention to mince meat. Next day, Montague introduces Godfrey to two naval assigns from Madrid, making sure that the body and all important documents are delivered to Spain and get into the right hands. Meanwhile, the intelligence agents work on writing the main document about the attack on Greece, and Leggett writes a love letter for Pam. They also heads to the cinema to put movie ticket slips in Major Martin's pocket. In the evening, Montague takes Jean home and says goodbye as he does so. Godfrey tells Montague to put together all the fake documents and make many revisions to them. Chumley then goes to Q Branch to come up with a plan for delivering the body in a specially built container to keep it from breaking down too quickly. With the plan approved, the team now waits for the body's shipment in 2 weeks, hoping for success. The team at headquarters is happy that the planning is almost done. Chumley meets Godfrey again, who hasn't given up on his plans to bring Ivor to justice. The Admiral insists that Chumley do his own investigation and promises to return his brother's body in exchange. Finally, the reluctant spy agrees to keep an eye on the Montagues brothers. The next day, they take pictures of all the letters and arrange them in a certain way so that they can be checked for tampering if needed. Montague also suggests putting one of Jean's eyelashes inside as a signal. They then get the body ready for shipping by putting papers in the pockets and attaching a briefcase with papers using handcuffs. The team heads to a restaurant in the evening while Montague talks to the driver, Jock Horsfall, who is in charge of transporting the secret cargo. Chumley asks Jean to dance. Jean is genuinely interested in William and Pam's love story, but Chumley sees that their dreams are getting in the way of reality. He tells her, they are all very lonely in real life, unlike Montague who is waiting for his family to arrive in the US. Chumley also says that his coworker fails to take their time together seriously. These comments hurt Jean, and she quickly leaves the restaurant. Seeing this, Montague rushes out and stops her, but Jean tells him that she fell in love with the idea of William neglecting about reality and asking to be left alone at night. Horsfall takes the intelligence agents and the body to the RN submarine base in Holy Loch at night. On the way, Montague asks Chumley what made Jean so upset, and Chumley asks Godfrey about Ivor and agreed with his thoughts. Lieutenant Bill Jewell meets them at the location to supervise the operation. Chumley plans to ship the submarine with the body to Spain, which was not discussed. When he gets back to London, Montague visits Jean and tells her how he feels and says sorry. He also reminds her that the success of the operation is their top priority right now. Even though Jean agrees, she can't hold back her tears when he leaves. The HMS Seraph submarine arrived at the Bay of Cadiz early on April 30. Chumley prays before throwing Major Martin's body into the sea. Montague and Jean decide to offer prayers for the operation's success at headquarters as well. In London, they learned that Hitler was still fortifying Sicily, making mincemeat their last chance. Luckily, Spanish sailors find the corpse and one of their attaché, Salvador Gómez Beer, called to the police. However, the mission took a twist when Gómez Beer saw how resistant the Spanish were to Nazi influence. The corrupt police have been cut out of the case, according to the military judge. The judge then advises the attaché to quickly seize all of Major Martin's belongings, to make sure the documents can't be accessed by German spies. But he asks to leave those things with them so they can keep them safe. Also, the doctor explains that he is an expert in drowned corpses, meaning he can expose their lies. Thankfully, Gómez Beer is able to convince him against doing an autopsy because to the scorching heat. At the same time, Chumley calls attaché David Answorth on an unsecured line, letting the Germans listening to every conversation know that they are searching for secret documents. They choose to send a letter with the same message to the British Embassy in Spain, which will definitely get the attention of German spies. However, getting the documents to the right persons is hard, so Answorth recommends getting in touch with Colonel Chudy of the Spanish secret police. He can ensure that the papers get to the Nazis. The intelligence officers didn't know what happened to the papers for a few days, but one day they got a message from the government saying that the papers would be sent back to England. Following getting the items, the team analyzes the inside of the briefcase and sadly learns that the seal on the letter remains untouched. Nevertheless, the specialist reveals that the eyelash had gone. However, when they looked more closely at the letter, they saw that it had been taken out of the envelope, which meant that someone had read it. The operation is once again at risk of falling in the meantime. A bartender from the Gargoyle Club named Teddy shows up at Jean's house out of the blue and wants to know how her picture got mixed up with Major Martin's important papers. Teddy tells Jean that he is a spy for the anti-Hitler movement and threatens to shoot her if she isn't telling him the truth about the documents. After Teddy leaves, Jean gets in touch with Chumley and Montague and tells them that she revealed Major Martin was a spy and that he carried actual documents, not fakes. On the street, Chumley suspects Montague of sharing a roof with a Russian spy and holds him responsible for the situation. Montague claims that Ivor is uninvolved in the situation and queries what Chumley stands to gain from working with Godfrey. Eventually, he finally admits that he has long thought his brother was spying but never told the authorities. To calm things down, Chumley suggests Colonel Alexis von Rahn, who is in charge of German intelligence and fighting a secret war against Hitler, may have sent Teddy on the mission the next day. They tell Admiral Godfrey about their theory because they are sure that von Rahn is the only one who could have told them about their lie being found out, and the Nazis started to get stronger. Jean, who was staying with Montague for safety reasons, packs her things and tells him she is leaving London to go to a special operations unit. On the 10th of July 1943, the Allies invaded Sicily. The team wished for success, but then, they got a telegram saying that they had few losses and the enemy had retreated. After some time, Chumley tells Montague that he made a deal with Godfrey just to get his brother's body back to his family. Forgiving each other for past mistakes, they decide to have a drink together. At the end of the movie, we learn that Operation Mincemeat was the finest example of military disinformation ever. Thank you for coming, and don't forget to subscribe. See you in the next video.